Hello friends, you're with the Lonesome Gamer, and today I'm going to play Dungeonquest. The reason I'm going to do that is because it's a very short game. I mean, first of all, it's one of my all-time favorites, there's no doubt about that. But it's a very short game, and recently I'm pretty busy, so I didn't have a lot of time to do playthroughs. I rearranged my room. You can see the couch is gone and there's a beautiful shelf now here, and I also have a little bit more space over here, and there are more games here. So I really did a lot of cleaning. I'm a pretty messy guy, and near to the point where it gets pathological, and I really mean that. So I took a lot of time to clean this room, spent many hours to do that after 10 years or so. And I also had to prepare games for my gaming group and read a lot of rules. So yeah, I was pretty busy and didn't manage to do videos lately. But I wanted to come up with something, so I thought that's a good idea. I know the rules of that very well. One of my favorite games, as I already said. It's going to be a short video, probably just one video, maybe two, but usually you die pretty soon and the game is over after 15 minutes or half an hour or something. So that is the reason I'm going to do that, and then I hope to do a longer series, maybe in a week or so. We're gonna play 18xx next Friday, and after that I'll have time to prepare something new, and to do some more videos then. Now, this is the third edition of the game, and I already did a video about the Games Workshop edition. You can see that over here. I'm not sure if that is actually the first or second edition. I think it's technically the second edition, because there was some Swedish game or so which was, I think, the first one, but that was not really big in the gaming world. I think that was more just popular in Sweden, from what I know. And then Games Workshop published this, and that was then, I think, the second edition, and now Fantasy Flight did the third edition here. And they changed a few things. I'm not going to go through all the rules. You can see the other video where I'm going to explain the rules in detail. I mean, they're not very complex. But anyway, and what they basically changed was the combat system. They used power cards. We can see them here or here for the heroes. But the fans were pretty pissed by these combat rules. So they then came up with some variants. There are two variants here, and I think I'm going to go with the let me see. I'm going to go with the classical variant. The problem with these new combat rules was that combat took pretty long for how simple the game in general is, so that the flow of the game was a little bit interrupted by this new power card mechanic. In addition to that, they changed and by the way, the revised edition that they did now, there is a third revised edition, and Fantasy Flight went back to the classical combat rules. So these power cards and all that, they don't exist in the new, in the revised edition anymore. They are now back to the with the combat rules from this Games Workshop edition. What they changed are the skill tests. And I think they've become easier overall because you did skill tests in the early edition either with a 10-sider or with a 12-sider. Here you do them with 2 6-siders. And obviously the odds here in this variant are more into these medium numbers, right? You're more likely to roll a 6, 7 or 8, and mostly that gives you then better odds to pass a skill test. Apart from that, you have also that mechanic, a new mechanic, which helps you with the skill tests with these so-called determination tokens, but we get into this a little later. The rest more or less remains the same. By the way, another thing changed, and these are the catacomb. The catacomb expansion is included here, and in the old edition it wasn't. And they also changed that to the point that here the catacombs are clearly more dangerous, but then if you exit the catacombs, it's more to your advantage than in the old game. In the old game, the main problem was to find an exit, and most of the cards were simply empty. But then you had kind of a random shift on the board, and that could be also to your disadvantage. That's not going to be the case here, and we're going to get to this a little later then. Maybe, if we see the catacombs. Okay, so let's see. We start now, and we have... I'm going to play a 2-character game to get a little bit of competition into the game. So here is Lindell. And by the way, here we have 6 characters. If you have the expansion, the character expansion of the Games Workshop edition, you have 13 characters, which is obviously cool. So Lindell. And let's see, we have, with these combat variants, some of these characters also have new special abilities, but Lindell doesn't. His special ability is, after rolling dice for an attribute test, you may re-roll 1 die. You must accept the second result. Okay. And here is his miniature. And we're going to place this guy here. And here we have Tatiana. And she has actually another attribute, not that one anymore. Oh, actually that's not true. Tatiana's ability is unchanged. Note that the combat deck is only used for Tatiana's ability. It is not used to resolve the test of the combat. Okay, so let's see. If you choose to attack instead of escape when you encounter a monster, you may reveal the top 5 cards on the combat deck and add any cards with a ranged attack type to your opponent's damage stack. Then discard the rest of those cards. Okay, so that's a little tricky, and I gotta see. I mean, because I didn't use these combat cards until now, so we'll see. Every hero gets a rune in addition. It's basically the same thing as the magical rings in the other edition. And we have here the teleportation rune for Lindell. Discard when you're about to move. Move to any adjacent space. If the space is unexplored, place a dungeon chamber as normal. If you encounter a monster, you cannot escape. Okay. And for Tatiana, we have the Rune of Warning. Discard after you draw a trap. Discard the trap without resolving the effects. Now, if you take a closer look to these runes, it might remind you of Runebound, and you're right about that. This whole game is set in the Runebound universe, and that's the reasons why the runes look very similar. And also, if we should come to the treasure chamber, there will be also treasures which refer to some cities in that universe, but we'll see about that later. Okay, so Lyndall starts sitting here, and he draws the first rune tile. Now, of course, the goal is to make as much money as possible, and the most money is here inside the dragon chamber, so that's the reason why we go here first. And oh, that's interesting. We draw a passage down right away. I'm going to place that here, and we're going to draw a room card. Oh, that's pretty cool. Gold coins, 30 bucks. Good start for Lyndall. Now what he could do is he could move out right away and hope that the other guy simply dies. But I think 30 bucks is not that much, and it's a little too early for that. So Tatiana, I guess she moves here. And we have a normal room. And we start with a skeleton right away. We may try to attack or try to escape. So let's see, we're gonna attack, I guess. So now we can do this attack with our bow right at the beginning. But before we do that, and this is a little new now here in this edition, we have to find markers. There are 4 markers for each monster. There we go. And we can shuffle them. I try to find a cup or something. Okay, so we simply throw the markers inside the cup and then draw one of them. And we see that this monster has 2 life points. Not too impressive. In a multiplayer game, you would do that secretly so that the opponent wouldn't know how many life points the monster has, which makes the combat maybe a little more interesting. Okay, so what happens is, oh shit. Yeah, I just managed to scatter the stack of combat cards on the floor. But okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to draw 5 of these combat cards. But we're not going to use them for combat, but only for this, for the standard combat, but only for the normal attack. For the ranged attack with the bow, her special ability. And we can see here now there are 3 different type of cards. These are melee attacks, these are magic attacks, and these are the ranged attacks here. And we've only drawn 1 of them, so that means we do 1 damage to the monster. And then we have to do our fighting, and that is now terribly simple. Very similar, as I already said, to the classic rules. We simply roll a die here, and and then check the result, and we want to roll high. So that is a 2, that's not good. Inflict 1 wound to the hero. That's a little better. Inflict 1 wound on the monster, and that's it. We managed to kill the skeleton. Okay. So now we come to the next turn, and you might know that if this soundtrack here comes to an end, then the game ends and everybody who is still inside the castle dies. Now Lyndall decides to enter the catacombs, because then he can avoid all these kind of maze-like ways, the dead ends and all that kind of stuff, and he can just move straight ahead. So we have a marker for him here somewhere, this thing here, and we place that now in the direction you want to move. So we place it like this, and what we do is we simply draw a catacomb card, which is back here, and that's a hole in the roof. Test agility. If you succeed, you may exit the catacombs. If you fail, you may test again on your next turn instead of drawing a catacombs card. If you have a rope, you may discard it to automatically succeed. Well, I think I want to continue moving inside the catacombs. I'm not going to try to climb out here. And, well, next is then, again, Tatiana. And I'm going to move here with her. And that's also interesting because we have also found a passage down. So I guess she's also going to go down. It doesn't make sense if you're already kind of close to the center. But if you're that far away in the first 2 or 3 areas, then it's probably a good idea to go down. We have a dead adventurer. You may search the body for treasure. And I think I want to do that. So I'm going to draw a corpse card. And that's a scorpion. That sucks. So that is roll 1 die to determine how many wounds the scorpion inflicts. Yeah, bad luck here. So 2 wounds. Okay, that could have been worse. Yeah. And then Lindell again. Sun continues, and he draws simply a card. And that is again an exit. You have found a way out of the catacombs. If you wish, you may exit the catacombs. Now the thing is, he still, he still hasn't gone very far. However, there are only so many cards, so many exit cards inside the deck here, and 2 are already gone. So I don't know, continuing might be a little risky now. Who knows when he will be able to come out. So I think what he actually wants to do is he wants to leave the catacombs here. And what we can do now, and that shows the immense advantage of entering the catacombs in this game, is we simply count now the number of cards. Now that hasn't changed, so we would be kind of here. And now, however, we roll a die, and we want to shift in this direction. We can decide in which direction we want to shift. 2 spaces, so that means we will come out here. And I can show you, and that's a big advantage. I mean, we just draw 2 cards basically, and we already managed it to come here, and we can also choose in which direction we want to leave here. So I'm going to move like this, and I'm not absolutely positive if I have to draw a card here or if this is something that happens in the next turn. Let's see, there we go. Blah, blah, blah. Nah. Unexplored space. Then the hero's turn immediately ends. The hero does not encounter the dungeon chamber. However, on the hero's next turn, he must encounter the chamber as if he just entered it. Okay, so we kind of lose a turn here. It's a little hard to say if we've won a lot here, if we gained a lot here, but I don't want to take that risk and stay longer in the catacombs. And I'm going to shuffle these two cards back now, which might be also important for Tatiana. And then she will also enter the catacombs. So, Tatiana will now enter the catacombs. And let's see, I think that's her marker. No, it's actually that one. And yeah, I think I want to also go with her in this direction here. And we're going to draw a card. And this one is empty. And we continue with Lindell. And he has now to encounter this room. So let's see, I'm not sure if he has to draw a card there. No, I don't think so, actually. So I think what actually happens is that if he enters the room, it's a little strange. It says when it's placed on the board, it rotates 130 degrees, so 180 degree. So I think, I shouldn't draw a card there. So I think basically nothing happens there. I'm not absolutely sure about that. So I guess I'm gonna wait there, and then in the next turn, then I'm gonna move on. So then it's Tatiana again, and she draws another card, and that's a Bane Spider. Keep this card at the start of each of your turns, roll a die. Okay. Lindell moves here. And that's a chamber with a portcullis. But he doesn't want to move back anyway because this room won't rotate again. It rotates only once. And that is a crypt. And I think I want to search that. So we're going to draw from the crypt deck. These are old bones. So we got to roll a die here, and we might have to fight a skeleton maybe. Let's see. That's a 2. So 1 to 3, nothing happens. Okay. Diana draws another dungeon card. Whoa, holy shit! A gigantic diamond. That's it. That's what you want to get there. This is worth more than most of the things you can find in the treasure chamber. This is the big prize of the lottery. 4,000 bucks. So basically, actually, before we got to do that, but it won't change a lot. I will keep it here on top. She has to roll if she can kill the spider. So let's see. That's a 1. So she's not allowed to move on yet. She has to take a wound. But if she kills the spider, I'm going to allow her to draw that card. And then she is... basically, her main goal is simply to leave the dungeon again, because she won't need to get to the treasure chamber then. Okay, so it's Little, and Time goes on and he moves here. Okay, that's another room. Not perfect, with a door. And it's empty again. Tatiana tries to fight the spider again. So let's see what we get. That's a 5. That is good enough. Discard this card and continue your turn as normal. And now she's allowed to draw this massive diamond here. Okay. Lyndall again, and he's now definitely under shock. He knows he has to reach the dungeon chamber if he wants to win, or the dragon chamber. Well, I mean, of course, it's always possible that Tatiana dies, so she's not safe yet. She's not out of the game, but she's not out of the dungeon, but still it looks not very good for Lyndall. He's going to try to open that door, so we're going to draw one of these door cards, and it says door opens. Move through the door into the adjacent space. Very good. So we end up here, and now we really have to hope for a good tile. And that's not perfect, but at least it allows us to move upward, although we have to draw a trap card here. So let's see what we get. Okay, these are poisonous snakes. Roll 1 die to determine how many wounds the poisonous snakes inflict. Okay, until now he hasn't taken any wounds, so let's see. These are 2 wounds, that's not too bad. And Tatiana still in the dungeon. And that's a hidden trap. That's not good. Some of them are pretty dangerous. So let's see what that is. Now that is a cave in. Keep this card at the start of each of your turns. Test agility. And she keeps that trap card, by the way. Test agility to cross the cave in. If you succeed, discard this card and continue your turn as normal. If you fail, your turn immediately ends. Well, she's very good in agility, so that shouldn't be a big deal. And the time goes on, and he moves now here and approaches slowly the dragon chamber. Now that's a spider web. That's also not that great. Let me see if he has to draw a card there. I don't know, actually. No. So, but he can try to... I think he can try now right away. Yeah, he can try to cross the web, fight its way through, and of course he's going to do it. He's got a strength of 6, and he can reroll one of his dice from the test. So, well, I think I'm going to place that up here. It's a little easier there. Okay. So that's a 6, that's good enough. So he makes it actually through. And then he's allowed to continue his turn right away. He can draw another one. And, oh, pretty awesome. That's a good one. Because it also allows him to go down, maybe on his way back. So that's a really cool... tile for him, and he's going to draw a card. That's a crypt. Now, do we want to draw that? I think we want to. Yeah, why not? I mean, we need as much loot as possible. And it's empty. Okay. So, Tatiana is still in the basement, draws a card, and that's a sneak attack. Now, that could be dangerous. A demon suddenly attacks you. Test luck. If you fail, suffer a number of wounds equal to the amount you failed by. Whatever you succeed or fail, you must then resolve a combat with a demon, but you must attack. You cannot escape. So demons are pretty tough. It's okay. Oh shit, actually again I forgot to try to get over this cave in, so we'll meet the demon later. First we got to do this, and we have to test agility. And yeah, we made it. So we crossed the cave in, and now we're gonna meet that demon. And I got to test luck, and I only have a 6 here. But I made it. That's a 5. So and a 5 and a 6. 5 and a 1. So that is exactly a 6. So at least no damage here. But now we have to fight the demon. And these guys are extremely ugly. I think these are actually the strongest monsters in the game. So we're going to throw them in the cup. And pick one, and that's a 6. Wow, that sucks. So let's start the combat, and again I'm going to use my arrow. I'm allowed to draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's again 1 blue card. 1 successful ranged attack, so that means 1 hit against the demon. And then we have to start rolling the dice. And we want to roll high. That's a 5, that's pretty good. I think that's 1 wound. Yeah, exactly. 1 wound against the demon. That's bad. That's a wound against the hero. So you can see this is really now simple, only luck, but I think that's okay. Again, a wound against the demon, and we can continue this a little bit. Shit, it's against the hero. Oh yeah, the demon again. So we're at 4 now. We need to do 2 more damage. And that's it. That's actually a 6 is 2 wounds against the demon. Here heroes have a little bit of an advantage. So we managed to kill that guy. And that could have been definitely worse. So now time goes on, and we are actually both doing fine when it comes to time. Nobody was held up too long here. And now Lindell enters the dragon chamber, and I have to shuffle these cards before we see what we can find here. Okay, so overall we need at least $4,000 to win that. I mean, of course we could try to hope for her death, but until now it doesn't really look like that. So I think we want to draw a few cards here. Okay, so the guy is sleeping. Very good. That allows me to draw 2 treasure cards. And let's see what we get. Now this is not too impressive. A belt of strength, $260. And then rune scarab. That's a little better. Looks like a boomerang to me. But okay, it's $400. This is not enough. By far not enough, so that means we have to stay in the chamber. And if it goes on like that, we might even consider moving out and going back in, because then the cards will be again shuffled into the deck, so our chances are better that the dragon does not awake. But of course we have to move out then, which costs us another turn. Okay, let's see, Tatiana. She's still underground, and she has to shuffle the deck. Now, I'm not sure anymore if I have to shuffle these things back in. Maybe not, but who knows. I mean, at the moment I thought when somebody comes up, then the cards are shuffled back in. But now that I find that card here, maybe that's not the case. Anyway, let's shuffle the deck. Okay, so. Oh shit, torch goes out. Keep this card at the start of each of your turns. Test luck to relight your torch. If you succeed, discard this card and continue your turn as normal. If you fail, your turn ends. Well, okay. So the other guy is still inside the chamber, and he draws another card. The dragon is still sleeping. So let's see what we get. 2 cards. 800. Now that's something. The Star of Kelos. That's not bad. And another one. 700. Okay, that's pretty awesome actually. If you also have the Sun Spear, they have a combined gold value of 5,000. Well, we don't have that yet, but who knows? It's not that bad for now. So, let me see. We have now more than 2,000. So, I think I might consider. Yeah, that's a tough choice now. If we want to, well, whatever. I mean, we're gonna see what the other what she does first. Let's do her turn. So she has to relight her torch. So she rolls a die, and this time she doesn't make it. And now we're gonna see a new rule. If you're gonna do these skill tests and you fail in one of these tests, you get one of these determination tokens, and these tokens allow you to increase your skill value by 1. So for each token she has, she can increase her skill value by 1, and every time she fails a test, she gets one of these tokens. And when the test is finally successfully passed, she has to discard the tokens again. Now that's also a rule they changed in the revised edition, maybe for the better. It's basically the same thing. Every time you fail a test, you get one of these tokens, but then you can choose if you want to spend the token to improve your skill by 1 or not. And you could keep these tokens then if you manage to do a skill. So that's kind of cool. It will help you then in future skill tests. But okay, I mean that's not part of this design, but it could be an interesting variant maybe. I don't know. So what happens now is that Lyndall, yeah, well, time goes on a little bit. Now, let me see how many cards we have here. 1, 2, 3, quite a few, 6 cards or so. So I think what I want to do is, I want to draw another card for now and hope that he won't wake up. And he's still sleeping. Very good. So we're allowed to draw 2 more cards, and let's see what we get. That sucks. That's a gin lamp. 270. That's not too impressive. And wow, a bag of gems. That is awesome. Now we have to do a serious calculation. I think I need a little more, but it's pretty good already. Okay, so we are at, I think, 3,560. So we basically need another 500 bucks or so. Honestly, I think I want to exit in the next turn and then go back in again. I think it's a little too risky to stay one more round. And especially now that I already achieved that much loot. If the dragon awakens, I have to lose it all. And that would be a disaster, so I don't want to take that risk, I guess. Okay, now Tatiana still tries to relight her torch. And she doesn't make it, so she gets another determination token. And it's now Lindell, and as I said, he's gonna move out and draw a room card. That's a troll. You may attack or try to escape. Okay, let's see. I think I want to attack that guy. Is that the troll? No, that's a golem. So the troll is this guy here. 3, 4. And we have a 4. Wow, that's pretty tough. But we're in a good shape. So let's see what we get. That's a 3, so we both lose 1. And that's a 5, that's pretty good. So the troll will lose 1. A 1. Lindell's gonna take a hit here. Now let's see. That's a 4, so again, both take a wound. It's not that great. And let's hope for... Okay, so we take both another wound. And yeah, Lindell has lost overall now 6 wounds already. But okay, I mean... He's still okay, I guess. It's not that bad. And again, the torch for Tatiana. And again, she didn't make it, a 9. Wow, she really has to struggle down there. So, Lindell, he wants to re-enter the dragon chamber. And we're gonna shuffle now these back in. And then we're gonna draw again from the deck. So, let's see what we get. And still sleeping. Very good, 2 more treasures. So we said about 500 bucks, that's what we need. Holy shit, man. That's a lodestone. Shit, that's only $1. And, oh shit, golden claws. That's not gonna be enough to win that. So it seems like we need to stay there for 1 more round. And Tatiana, she's now at a luck value of 9 if she adds all these determination tokens. So she should now be able to light that thing. This is fucking unbelievable. Always exactly 1 point above what she needs. Holy moly. Okay, so, and again, Lindell, he draws another card. Holy shit, let's see. Still sleeping. Was definitely good decision to leave the room, I guess. So, okay, now we should be able to do it. We need about 200 bucks. Holy shit, there we go, the Sun Spear, that's it. If you have the Staff of Light, they have a combined gold value of 5,000. He has that thing, so no more sorrows here for Lindell. And in addition, the E-Bone Amulet. Absolutely amazing. He's a rich guy. Now he only has to make it back. And she tries to relight again. And finally she made it. So now she's gonna discard all these tokens. And now, for example, in the other game, or in the other variant, she'd only had to discard one of the tokens to match the 7 she rolled, and she could have kept the 3 tokens and used them later in the game. And that's an interesting idea, I think. Okay, so yeah, she can now continue her way through the catacombs and draw a new card. And this thing is empty, and she needs to find now more treasures. I mean, that's not enough. Anyway, I think at this point I want to load this up. We both are doing pretty good. This game already took longer than many games that I have played yet. So yeah, let's see if he can bring back his riches, if he can get them out of the castle, and if Tatiana manages to get maybe a little more. We'll see that. And yeah, so hope to see you on the next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye.